In a city that never sleeps, dreams are built from nothing and turned into empires. Welcome to the Empire State of Mind podcast, where entrepreneurs rise. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Empire State of Mind. I am your host, Diana Burgos, and with me is the beautiful, talented journalist, all things, Cindy Rodriguez from Reclama. So welcome, Cindy. Thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm grateful.
And I know Cindy is a little under the weather, so we were talking earlier about if she has to sneeze, whatever, let's do it, okay? So I appreciate you being here.
Sure. This is allergy season right now, okay, y'all?
So I like to always, give a little backstory of how I met my guests, if I know them personally. And so I met Cindy way back about 2 years ago at a Latino World Travelers. So shout out to Vanessa at Latino World Travelers. There was a networking event and I was there as an insurance agent and just, meeting everyone. And I ran into Cindy, and your personality, you're like a whole vibe, okay? A walking vibe.
I appreciate that.
And you told me about your story briefly, the community you built, Reclama, and I wanted to have you on so you can share with others who may not know what you're doing and what you offer. I think is such a beautiful thing. And I wanted to dive in and see what's new because it's been a couple of years since we talked.
I
Honestly,
know.
yeah.
It was only 2, but it feels like 5, but that's what's happening right
It sure does. It feels like 5 years ago.
I remember that day. We were having lunch. We instantly clicked. I feel like the whole table was a vibe. And I was just so happy to be surrounded by other Latinos who are just trying to make things happen. That to me is everything. In different categories. Obviously, I was there actually that day talking about how to travel on a budget and how mindset has so much to do with that. Not saying someone says have you been to Paris? And someone's like, oh, I haven't been there. And now the way I answer those questions are I haven't been there yet. So there was a big part of that because I grew up poor, born and raised in Jersey, Peruvian immigrant parents. And so things like traveling the world were not on the roster. It was more teacher, lawyer, doctor, pick one. We came here with all these wishes and dreams for you. And I was like, I don't want none of that. I knew it. I was like, teaching sounds cool, but I'm gonna be stuck in a room with 25 little managers. I don't know about that. So I feel like I went down the road less traveled and I became a journalist kind of to fulfill that, look, parents, I was a professional. I did something cool. And now I feel in my 40s, I'm completely derailing a little bit. And they've been supportive, but it took them a little bit to kind of get on board.
Okay, with you paving your own path and going
because you
to
can
whatever you wanted to.
Peruvian immigrant parents here, su hija está trabajando en CNN or HuffPost or NBC, and I've been in journalism 20 years, yo. I love it. I love telling people stories. I love lifting them up. I like bringing stories out of the Latinx community to light. I love that. But, right now journalism is changing a lot. So I'm kind of sitting back a little bit to be am I gonna do both, meaning journalism and Reclama? And I feel right now I want to put all of my energy into Reclama, which by the way is spiritual hiking and journaling for women. It's outdoor wellness. It's very spiritually in tuned. I was going through a tough time and found a lot of healing out there. And I was why is no one else out here? This is amazing. This shit is
When did it happen? When did that happen? When did you start?
I think I started really doing it 10 years ago, 11 years ago, by myself. I would go out a day, just tell 1 or 2 people where I was going for safety purposes or whatever. And then in the middle of the hike, because, by training, I like to write, but now I was writing for me. And I realized when I would go home the following week and look at my journal, I'm like, yo, this girl is lit. This girl, she knows what's up. Why is this girl not here every day? Why is she only in the mountain? So then I started but
the version of you that's outside?
Yes, because then I started to be kind of like a scientist, I'm doing something different up there, and it's the movement. It's being surrounded by trees. It's you're talking to your highest self at that point. Especially,
of course, you are your highest self, and you're connecting.
Look at me. I could be in bed right now, but nah, I'm on a mountain with a PB&J sandwich and a journal. Like, I'm magical. I'm a fairy. Look at me. It's like all of the things get unblocked out there and you get to
Yeah.
really be with the core you. And like doing that alone obviously is like medicine, but doing that with other people and like introducing that space to them and like spaces like the outdoors that is very well known for being like, white people shit, right? It's and I'm like, a lot of people say that, and I'm like, yes and no. There are historical reasons why you would feel that way, but I'm all about taking up space out there. Like, I'm all about, like, no, we're
Yeah.
going to do a smoke cleanse. We're going to be in circle talking, and people might pass by and be like, what's going on there? And we're just going to be about us.
You know what I just thought of when I had the song, "This
Yeah,
land is your land, this land is my land,
all of
from
it.
California to the New York Times."
Yo, like, I'm like, we're taking up space unapologetically, con calma. We're not gonna be out here explaining why we're out there because you would be surprised at the comments I get out there sometimes. Like, and this is like a white people PSA that I gotta do formally, but it'll be something along the lines of like, this is a group, huh? What do you? And we'll have name tags on because I don't want to stress people out. Like, oh my god, I just met this woman and heard her story, and I don't even know her name right now. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like name
okay,
tags, we
smart.
look like a group, you know? And,
Okay.
white women have stopped us in the past and said things along the lines of like, "Oh, what is all this?" Or have literally interrupted a smoke like circle or like have literally gone like while I'm speaking to everyone and she's like, "Can I join?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's a closed group," which it hurts like my soul to say that, but at the same time, it's for women of color for a reason, you know? And then I've even gotten comments of like, "I've had a little color, can I join?" And I'm like, what is happening? Luckily not in front of a lot of hikers because I don't want to ruin their experience. But like, that's the reason I think why I guess I'm motivated to be out there the way that we do. Because
Mm.
I'm like, we're going to get the stupid comments and we're going to still hike. And
Yes.
and even if we don't get stupid comments, I will prepare you how to handle those things. But honestly, there's so many ways to avoid it. Like sometimes I get stupid comments and I'm like, I know, right? Over the rainbow. And I'll just like walk away and people are can't be racist if you're confused.
So why specifically women of color? Tell me more about that.
You know, a
I
lot
know
of
you
the
shared a little bit right now,
yeah.
but
I mean, it used to be women of color and allies, but then there would be certain white people that would come through and not know that they would think they were allies, and then they would say and do things that I'm like, "Ooh, no, you missed a course or
mm,
two, friend." And that's not the space to educate people on that. It's a space to put women of color first, and that means like
mm,
a lot of our stories stem from like white supremacy, right? Like being the only Latina in the room, or like this person keeps shutting me down, or I get these microaggressions at work, or like, my grandma doesn't like my black husband. Like, what do I do? Like, it's a lot based in its foundation. And so, like, when people talk about it and there's one white person in a circle, you will notice that people like water down their stories a little bit because they don't want to
mm.
like the white person in the group, which I know is considerate, but at the same time, you don't get to like speak your authentic self because you're like watering it down for someone else. So it's like, it's not that person's fault of like what happened, but it reflects. And like, I remember a lot of Latinos would come up to me and be like, yo, Sin, like, I don't know, it's different when it's just us. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
And I'm taking the note. Like they didn't have the words for it, but I would see it because I would lead those circles, because we start with the circle in the beginning of the hike. I like everyone to introduce themselves. We'll hike together, we'll stop, we'll do a smudge, we'll be by the river, we'll journal a little bit. I'll give people like prompts. You'll experience this soon. You'll know. You'll know.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited to do it.
And
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
very much about, like, being with the land. There's no rushing. Like, if somebody has a pebble in their shoe, that is the space to speak up. No te vas a aguantar. It's more like, "Hey, I need a break, aside from the other breaks we took." Cool. Then we all stop for 5 minutes. Like, it's to hug trees, and then when the weather is right, I have everyone actually put their feet on the dirt to, like, get emotionally regulated. Like, I feel like doing Reclama for the past 6, 7 years, right? I think, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Close to like 100 hikes, retreats, camping trips, and like almost 1,000 women of color were up. It's like I've seen the difference of like women when they come through and then when they finish. Like some people really break wide open. Other people just get like a window open and they're like, whoa. I just realized something about myself, or like something is clear right now about the next move I have to make. And like that's always my goal, that like you come out better than you came in. Cause we're all dealing with something. Everybody, you know?
Right.
But we all also have something to give. And I think that shows up like on the hikes real, like for real. And like, Latinas putting their feet on the ground and just being with earth. Like think about it. Like how many times do you really put your feet on earth? Like we have shoes on, we have sidewalks, we have cars, and I
And
think
it's so grounding too. Like
it
it really is like
so many benefits.
grounding.
So
Yeah.
many benefits, Diana. So like if you're like ever feeling like, I don't know if lost is the right word. I guess a little
Misaligned, overstimulated. I like to use that word a lot.
if you watch the news once a day, you should be outside.
Well, I actually don't watch TV. That was the beginning of my detaching from,
How long
you know.
now? How long have you been
It's
doing this?
been I started in 2023 in April. And it started with me taking myself out on a date. So one day I just woke up. I woke up and maybe I should do a podcast, a solo podcast about it. But I
Yes.
woke up and I was like, if I had the perfect day, what would I do with what I have right now? Right? Like, not like, oh, when I get these millions or when I get to go to Paris. No,
Right.
what you have right now. Right?
So
And I said, and I wrote those things down. And then something told me, well, just make it happen. So my first thing was, to meditate, which I was starting to do already. And then I went to Sojo Spa for like the day
yeah.
and by myself and got like a massage,
Qué
hung
rico.
out by that rooftop pool, whatever by myself.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need a date or whatever. I was married at the time. And then next I wanted to eat Mexican food is my favorite. So I was like, I want to go to a Mexican restaurant for lunch. That was part of my agenda. And I did that and I had me a margarita and I had my tacos.
You were
And then
eating solo, solita?
no, so actually my ex my husband at the time
Okay.
met up with me. So that was nice, but it kind of like threw off the whole solo, day, but
Right.
he wanted to like chime in. So I'm like, whatever,
Yeah.
um so then we had lunch and then he went off to do whatever he had to do. And then what did I end up doing? I think I ended up walking like alongside it was in Edgewater. So I don't know if you've been to Sojo Spa, but
Yeah,
I
it's right
walked
by my
around.
house. That's why I was like, I know exactly the kind of
So I did that. Yeah. And then it's just the pace of it. So I got out of my day to day routine and I realized it opened up something for me, like what you were mentioning with the hikes. I think it made me realize like I literally am the driver. Like I literally could create my days, my life, the
that's it.
way I want to.
Yes.
And that was just like a little taste because, I planned it out in my head and then I just executed it, right? Without any fear, like, oh my God, I'm going to be by myself. What a weirdo. Like, no, I just did it for me and it felt so good. And then I picked up the kids early from school. And at that time, I wasn't really spending much time with them. I worked very long hours. And so I picked them up early and I just spent like the afternoon present with them, like just playing, like
Mhm.
whatever it is they wanted to do, I was present. I wasn't like, okay, I gotta make dinner. I gotta, make sure everybody else is good. Like I was just present. And I'm like, how could I recreate this day, this ideal day, eventually in my life where it feels day to day? And
Mhm.
that's what started my healing journey because I was like thinking about all the things
Yep.
that weren't aligned with that vision. And then I had to cut it off.
Yep.
And that was the hard part. I'm still doing that, right? So it's never ending. We're always evolving. And
Never.
so new levels, new dials,
Because if it's
So
not
like,
internal, it's external. Like people asking you to do things or want to participate in this. And it's like you want to be part of a community, but it's like you also need boundaries. And it's
mhm,
constant, like
yeah.
every week, I'm like, I have to not, no, it's not about setting a boundary. Now I got to enforce it. Ah, damn.
Yeah, that was pretty hard to do,
Yeah.
but just creating more time for me to to pour into myself, right? Because
Yeah.
I think when you have all these roles and responsibilities, being a career woman, being a wife, being a mother, you tend to forget about, at least for me, that's what I realized. I was feeling very unhappy because I was pouring into everyone else and then I prioritized myself last. So I got a taste of what it's like to put Diana first. And I was just like, well, what do you want, girl? What do you want to do? Okay, let's do it. And I'm like, really? Like, we're gonna do this?
Yeah, like,
And
let's find out my free will has is creative. Look at this.
and even with this podcast, right? Like I was just terrified of pushing myself outside of my comfort zone, but I naturally love talking to people. I love learning about people. I love the journey of entrepreneurship and I was like, "You know what? Let me just start a podcast and just do it." And here I am, and it's
And
like once you cross over that like little hump that it seems like so scary, you're like, it wasn't that bad. Like I could do this.
yeah, there's a saying that, like, the anticipation of something is usually worse than the actual thing, and that's what keeps
Oh my
me,
God.
like, grounded. I'm like, "I'm freaking out, but I'm probably 200. It's probably only gonna bother me, like, 60%, so let me just chill out." Like, I do the math a lot because if
You
I
do the
black and white, yes and no, it's, like, very limiting, but if I start doing, like, ratios, like, 70-30, that's not bad.
Are you more like a logic? You calculate your risk and stuff? Are you a Virgo?
No, I'm actually an Aries, double Taurus.
Oh, Aries.
I'm
Oh my
always
God.
Aries in
Don't
the
get me started on Aries. I love you guys.
we can't help ourselves, Diana, we just can't help ourselves.
Oh my God.
But yeah, like, I found a lot of peace is what I mean to say, is, like because when I
Mm,
heard there's no perfect job, if you have a job that's, like, 70% dope and, like, 30% and this is Elizabeth Gilbert, the author of Eat, Pray, Love, and the book I'm
yes.
referring to is Big Magic. She says in the book Big Magic, like, basically, if 30% is a shit sandwich you gotta eat to have the 70% of joy and happiness and fulfillment in that job or that project, then you're good because every job comes with its things. And I was like, oh my God, it's so right. Like, I don't love bookkeeping for Reclama, but I gotta do it. I don't love the administrative stuff sometimes because, I'm pulled in different directions, but
Right.
has to be done, right? So, for me, it's been like, how do I make that stuff like more seamless and a little bit more fun? And I'll get through it.
Mhm.
But like knowing that it's 70-30, I'm like, oh, like that keeps me grounded because I think you think, what do you hear when you're growing up? Like, if you don't gotta work a day in your life, that's like the dream job or something like that. Like, if you love
Yeah.
you won't ever
Yeah.
have to work a day in your life. That's what it is.
Right. Right.
So I kept, like, searching for that, and I'm like, every job has its things. Is this really true? No. Oh, no, thank
There's no such thing as perfection. You
there is
can't,
no such there's no and, like, like, Reclama's a lot about hiking and being outdoors and getting grounded, and so when you're sick, like I was last fall, like, dealing with a lot, I could not be outside as much as I wanted to, and I was like, "What do I do?" So, like, I had to, like, get grounded at home and find other ways and get creative, and now is, like, when I'm finally, like, sound enough to, like, put that into words and, like, get it out there to other people because I can't be the only one that goes through this,
Mhm.
Especially
Yeah.
like corporate America and being burnt out and trying to like get your life back. That's what I feel. That's like the last year and a half, I think, like where I've been with everything.
Do you feel like you hit like a rock bottom? Everyone has their version of rock bottom. Like, do you
I feel like
feel like
year
you
was one of them. Last year almost took me out, girl.
it's such a dark question, but I feel like
But the dark, like I feel like if you cannot be your lightest self unless you have made peace with
with
the
the dark,
girl.
yes, the
And I
polarity,
yes,
yeah.
peace with my shadow last year, like, in many ways, because I had been stripped of everything, even
Mm,
and I had to rebuild everywhere because I had prepared for 6 months of not having a job because 'cause I've always gotten the next job, but now it's
mhm,
like but now it's a year, and I'm freaking out because
mm,
I I was responsible. I saved. I did all the right things, but in this economy, you could still do all the right things and still be in a hard place. So I had to like accept help from my mom and my sister and my stepmother, and that was hard for me. Like accepting it because my stepmother was just like, "Toma." And then whenever you can, you pay me back. And I was like, I can't do it.
yeah.
And she's like, "No, we don't want you sick. We don't want you stressed. This is an investment for us." And I was like
Well,
ugly.
part of abundance is being able to receive. That was my lesson this year, girl.
Yo,
Yes.
it's a huge part of it, and she was like, "Would you do it for us? Like, you always ask us this question, like, you would do it for us, why wouldn't we do it for you?" And then I was like, "You're so right." I had to practice what I preached in that way. It's been a long time since I was a receiver, I've been helping forever in many ways. So I was like, "Oh,
And life told you to sit your butt down, Cindy.
sit your butt down and wait for the gifts." And I was like, "Okay."
You're like, it's a control thing too. It's a control
Oh,
thing.
man,
So
and
bad.
especially, like, entering your 40s and your body is changing and you're, like, thinking not only of just getting a job, but, like, switching careers, like, going from journalism to, like, being a very, busy hiking guide is very different. Very different work, you know what I'm saying?
What do
Not
you do now? I just hike.
I'm, like, on the mountains a lot. Basically, I don't know, like, I do
I
private
live in the mountains.
things like that, like, that is what really helps. Like, I could have never imagined Reclama being a thing. It started out as an experiment, just like
Mhm.
I came back from a road trip in 2017. So funny the timing. I'm thinking about doing a road trip next year. But
Mm.
this was like, I have a month in between gigs. I'm gonna take advantage of this time. I got some extra dough. I took the month and I went from Jersey to Chicago to Wyoming to Idaho. Then I had to make a U-turn to Colorado because there was a huge snowstorm, so I couldn't get to some parks. And then I continued the journey through like New Mexico and Texas, and I came back up to Jersey through like it was like 3.5 weeks. It was almost a month. And
By yourself?
the first half was by myself, and for, like, 4 or 5 days, I had, like, a friend join me, and then on the way back, I came back by myself. But, the idea was to do the whole thing with her, but, like, at the last minute, like, she dipped, and I was like, am I not gonna do it if she can't come with me?" And then
Mhm.
now that I look back, I'm like, "No, that was a sign from the universe, like, you can do this by yourself. You just
Yeah.
think you know what I'm saying?" I was safe and sound. Like, yeah, there were some towns where I was like, "Oh my god, the population's 300 people. I need to get the hell out of here." But I'm like, "I'm stopping in the wrong place to get gas, girl." But I loved it. I came back like, there need to be more women out there that look like me in nature and, like, telling their stories, rewriting their stories. Like, I'm a big believer in, like, even writing shit down that's, like, not complete, like, helps your brain in a way. And this is just
Mm.
professional writing that I do, and I see how you can use it personally. So, like, that's a big thing is, like, we do on the hikes because a lot of people wanna journal, but then, like, they don't, and there's, like, so many barriers that you don't realize are, like, in your way, and, like, I try to break that down for people because I'm like, "You're not alone.
Mm.
You're not alone." Like, the girl that has, like, 7 journals but, like, won't use them, I've been there.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like it requires like a level of vulnerability, right? To open up in a space like that.
Yeah, and to make mistakes, like I give everyone a journal that's very no frills, it's very light, so you don't second guess bringing it on the hike too. Give you like a cute little gel feather pen so that to make to make it intentional, like this is your time and people think, "Oh, if I journal for 10 minutes, does not make a difference." I'm like, "No, it's not about time. It's about the intention and how present you are while doing this thing right now." Because we
Yeah,
think that we can like I have it in the back of my mind. Like, I always try to stop people, like, "Time out, don't do that no more." Because our
right.
brains are made to think, not remember. So, like, when you stress yourself out, like, "Oh my god, how can I forget?" Like, that's normal. Like, your brain is not made for that. Like, write it down somewhere, anywhere. Get you a notebook or use your notes in your phone or something. But, like, that to me, I've seen people, like, once you start honoring those, like, little thoughts that you think are nothing, then you start honoring other parts of yourself, like, with intent,
Right.
It's not so
And
frivolous.
it's like your own natural medicine because we're all creative,
All of us. I'm a
all of
big
us.
believer that, like, all of us came here to contribute something to the mix. All
Yes,
of us.
of course.
Even if it's something tiny, like your community, it could be your family, it could be you and your daughter, it could be and people think that's tiny, but it's huge, like, it has a ripple effect, that energy.
Right. I mean, we came from the creator, so we weren't meant to be creators
Ex
ourselves. Like, make it make sense, you
Yeah,
know? A
exactly.
lot of conditioning, right? A lot of things that we have to unlearn
Yeah,
as we become more aware of all the limiting beliefs and paradigms and like beliefs that we had growing up. I'm like, wow, I gotta unlearn all this BS.
Girl,
Like
that's
it's
hard.
really that simple. Like I could literally like choose
Yeah.
besides what's going on and turn on the TV. Who who knows, right? There's a million reasons why you could feel anxious and troubled and fear a lot of things, right? But you get to make a choice. People, I think, underestimate this. You get to the choice to, decide how do you want to experience your day, and you literally can create, that peaceful, people say they want, "Oh, I just want peace. I don't want no drama," pero they look for it everywhere and they're not really aware of what they're entertaining and what they're
Oh,
focused
yeah.
on throughout the
Yeah.
day. I'm not saying to be a hermit and go out into the woods and never come back. Of course, we got we
No,
gotta
you
live, right?
gotta come back and shit.
But I mean, you can tweak little things that don't really serve you where you're trying to go, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's people, whether it's what you listen to, whether it's what you see, your environment. I mean, it all contributes to that.
Yeah.
So
It starts with that prompt that you gave yourself when you're like, "What could I do with the day with what I have?"
with what I have, yeah, that was pretty cool. That was my higher self that day. She was like, "Girl, let me
That's
get her
like
in check because she's a mess right now."
that's like the origin of transmuting energy, and I'm like, I get it. Like, I've done that with anger. Like, I'm like, "Oh, so angry about this," and I'm like, "But I can't be angry about being angry." Right?
Well, there's the book The Alchemist, I think.
Yes. I've read that.
I didn't read the whole thing, but it talks about how to just shift.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's important, like, all emotions, especially as someone that has, like, had trauma. When you have trauma and you
yeah.
grow up in it or whatnot, like, you are trained, like, military trained to do and not feel. Do not feel. Do not feel. So, like,
Mm.
but
Do not feel.
yeah, you don't. You're not like, "Let's talk about emotions." You're like, "What can we do? What can we do? ¿Qué se puede hacer?" And I grew up in the community too, like, with Latinos that are like, "No, no, no, no piensas así, no piensas así, ni" talk to my
Yeah, yeah, get
what is
depressed.
the well, and I'm like, "Yeah, because I need to get this out, and the way I get it out is by talking about it." Men,
So,
especially men, are not trained to do that. They're trained to do
uh,
the opposite, to be more manly, but really it's just repressing and burying those emotions, and then it's like a cycle.
and then it comes out somehow. It's gonna come out. It's
Exactly.
gonna haunt you until you face it.
That's how I see issues in the tissues now. Like, things will come at me, and I'm like, "We are at capacity." I don't even have time for that. Like, I got enough to deal with that happened 20 years ago. You think I'm trying to take on new shit? I'm not taking on
So
new business. Like, I can't.
it's crazy you mentioned that because I just had an aha moment about a week ago. So they've been coming like weekly, okay? I guess, I don't know. But I noticed that I was scared, when you start to be in tune with your body and what feels good and what feels like misaligned or whatever, you start to like take note, right? And then it's just
Mm,
like, why do I feel nervous like expressing what I need or what I don't like, right? Or having those tough conversations. I have no problem doing it in like the professional life, even with my friends and family, but sometimes family members I might feel a little timid, but like in romantic relationships, right? Like I just like shut down, right? So I'm trying to move past that. And I was like, so I was sitting there and thinking about it, and I was like, "Oh, it's because what you were saying, like, growing up, it's like when you had a need when I had a need and I felt like I needed to express something or say, like, "I didn't like that." That didn't make me feel good, and or just expressing what I want, right? It was
yeah.
usually shut down. It was more doing,
Yeah.
less feeling. So, it's crazy you mentioned that because I was like, "Oh, that's why, I feel scared as an adult at 48, like, saying like, "Well, I really don't like that," or "I really don't." And then I think back on my previous relationship, a committed, 10-year marriage, like expressed it, but it was to the point where I was like fighting about it and it sounded
Oh,
like nagging, right? But I think if you're able to catch it on as you're feeling it and then like paying attention to it and talking to yourself about it, I
yeah.
think it goes a long way and then you could address it with the other person once you've regulated yourself. But,
Right.
like, if you get to the root of why do I feel timid? Why do I feel, like, kinda creepy, like, talking about these things? Like, no, we all have needs and wants, and we all are entitled to express our feelings, right? But I was like, "No, it's because when I was little, like, that was shunned, like, that was like, 'Girl, get over it,' like,
Yeah.
we ain't got time for that shit, like, let's just get over it." And
Yep.
so as a little girl, I learned like, well, I mean, I'm feeling like shit, but I mean, I gotta get over it. So you don't address it. And then we become adults and we
Yep.
get married and we have families, we have kids and or in the workplace, and we have these difficult people like to ghost everybody, or like
Yeah.
just and claim it as peace. Oh, I'm just keeping my peace. No, you're not really dealing with the
Mm.
feelings that you
Right.
have and you're not addressing it head on. You're
Right.
not like really you're just kind of avoiding it.
Yeah.
And I feel like now with
It's a
the
form of confrontation that we were like, at least I think typically, for the most part, like a lot of Latino households are like, "Tú cállate y ponte a limpiar," and
yeah,
you're like, quiet.
you can't even process.
You're like, your feelings are not accepted in this moment. Do something with them. I don't want nothing to do with them. And I'm like,
Yeah, but that's how they were raised too, and so it
so
just
they can't make space for something for you that they were never given. So
yeah,
that's what
it's not
actually
their fault.
that gave me a lot of like healing with my parents. I'm like, yo, did the best they could at the time with the information and the skills that they had available to them. They can't give me something they never had.
Right.
So I had
And
to
my son
do that for myself.
Yeah, my son yesterday, he actually told me, he was like, and he goes like that to me. And I called him a stalker, joking around, right? And he goes, and I'm like, what happened? He goes, I don't like that you call me that. And I was like, really? And then I was just like, okay, I'm sorry. And then I like, hugged him and I was like, okay, so next time you're feeling like that, you don't like something that mommy's doing, I want you to do just that, what you just did, okay? Like, call me out on it? And he was like, okay. And I'm like, how did it make you feel? He goes, it made me sad. I don't like it. Don't call me that again. He's an Aries. Don't call me that ever again.
We're like Sour Patch Kids. I'll be like upset while crying, like,
Like a little angry bird.
there, that's cycle breaking right there, Diana. He
I
felt
didn't even know, but I was like, I'm breaking the
yeah,
cycle because my mom would have been like, I can't or whatever, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
sometimes we don't even know subconsciously we're like repeating patterns, right?
yeah, because, like, our body hears, "Oh, it's not okay to express anything here. In fact, it's not even safe to do so, so we're not gonna do that
So
again."
you hold it inside. Yeah.
Hold
Oh,
it, and you develop beliefs around it. If there's
yeah.
any
Identities.
I
Yeah.
can do it. When I'm like, "But something good for you could be waiting on the other side." Like, your body doesn't know
Yes.
the difference between public speaking and a bear chasing you. Like, it doesn't know. You gotta tell it, "We okay." That's why the affirmations are a big thing, because it's like you, like, writing and speaking to your brain. Your
Right.
brain does not operate the same way like your heart and everything else does. So that's why I always tell people, like, "Yo, be careful what you say to yourself. Your brain is listening." Like,
Talking about that, do you have an alter ego? Like, do you have a
alt
version of you that's like,
I feel like there is sort of, but it's because I grew up with 2 names, and, my first name is Cindy, but my middle
yeah,
name is Julissa, and everyone in my family, people I grew up with, call me Julissa. It's just
you
that's
kind of give Jaleesa vibe. Okay.
kids cry, "Who's that? You sound different, very different," and I'm like, "Oh," you know? But, that's just how I grew up, like, in Peru, it's a big thing to refer to your kids in their middle name. Like,
Okay.
nobody calls my older sister by her first name, only I do. Like, her name is Joanna, and I grew up with her here. But when I go back to Peru, todo el mundo is like, "Y Pola, ¿cómo está Polita?" And I'm like, "Who?" "Mana." And I'm like, "Oh." Yeah. And, like, I'll request family members, they're like, "¿Quién es Cindy?" I'm like, "Tío, soy yo, mira."
I know.
Now I have
That
to
is
spell out my
funny.
name everywhere. So I feel like that Lisa is a little bit softer, she's a little even more sassy,
Okay.
you know? that's just how it is because of the 2 names, so I have no choice but to have a double personality. I think 17, but 2 is cute too. That's it.
That is hilarious. So I noticed that you're switching things up with Reclama and the hiking. So I saw that you offered like private group settings.
Yeah.
And can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so it honestly came from the hikers themselves. So I call them the OG hikers have been investing in private hikes for, like, their families and birthdays, y viene una tía,
Mm,
"Oh, I wanna take her to this," and so it's usually at least 5 people, sometimes 10, sometimes 15, and it's people who wanna, like, introduce this experience to their friends and family. The last one I did was about last month with an OG hiker who wanted to do it for her birthday, so it was just her and the girls.
mhm,
And then the one before that was in the winter, and it was one of the OG hikers who wanted, like, a winter hiking experience for her family because 'cause they're like, "We're not about going out in winter." She's like, "Please."
mhm.
So she was, like, trying to introduce it to, like, the fam and the kids and everybody. It was, like, 9 of us, adults and children, and it was a blast. Like, to me, I love that because I'm already, like, working with someone that knows about the hikes, and now I just have to worry really about the family and that kinda dynamic, and, like,
Right.
English and Spanish, so it's fine. I love working with kids. So to me, it's cake, like, doing, like, family hikes like that, and it wasn't ever a thing until, like, they mentioned it, like, "Hey, I just wanna hike for me and mine," and I'm like, "Okay." So then I was like,
Yeah.
they were like, "You should put it out." So now I've been trying to make it more known. That's a big part of Reclama, and also, like I said, like, I always tell people, like, it's not that you have to, like, add on, it's about taking off out here, like you said, the conditioning, the colonization, the expectations from society, from your family, like, all of that has to, like, come off for you to be like, "Oh, I'm already dope." Like, "You don't need to add more seasoning, we're good." Like,
The fact that I'm here.
I'm here, I exist, I'm amazing, and I always tell people, I'm like, I come out to the woods and it makes me, like makes my inner child really happy.
I think that's so important. We
It's
need to normalize like making your inner child happy.
yes, all the time. I always I like, what do I say? Who you are at 8 is who you are in life because they say by the between the ages of, like, 5 and 8, like, your full personality for life, really, your core is being formed at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So, I take that really seriously because I was like, "You know what? Like, when I was 8, I'm doing all the shit I'm doing now." I was making stationery, I was giving out fake homework to fake people in my room, like, I was outside all the time, girl. Like, I don't even think I was allowed inside. Like, my mom's like,
You got too much energy.
and, like, it would get dark, and I would hear, like, my mom calling me, and that was a sign to come inside, like, that's it. That was
That's
how I
funny.
grew up. So I feel like I'm bringing some of that to the hikes 'cause, for one of the first things I say is, like, "Put your phone away." Like, unless you have a
Mm,
serious emergency, go on D&D because the 2 hours, the 4 hours feel like 8, feel like 10. When you're present somewhere without your
mhm.
phone and I get it, like, sometimes you wanna take a photo, right? Of course, I'm always there for the photos. I'll take all the angles for you. Pero it's really, like, not about, like, sharing it in the moment or trying to message someone, like, it's about, like, being there. Like, we don't do enough of that. Like, siempre estamos con el celular algún sitio, like and I get it, like, we need it for, like, life.
Right.
I'm a big believer of, like, there's your inner child is gonna go bananas when you're out in the woods, and it's just about play and hugging trees and maybe seeing
Climbing trees.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that kinda thing, to me, I'm like, those are the happy childhood memories I have that I'm like, "We need more of this."
Now I come to think about like my kids are 8 and 9, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking about them when I was 8 and 9, their age. I think I was dealing with a lot of like internal like stuff. It
Yeah.
wasn't until I was a teenager that like, freestyle, Judy Torres, and I would Paula Abdul. Girl, I had like my brush and my mirror, and I was like full blown concert, okay?
Oh, and
And so
I love it. All
by
I heard is that
myself.
we're gonna do karaoke soon. I like that.
Oh, yeah, I love karaoke.
Okay,
My
so
favorite song is "I Wanna Dance with Somebody" by Whitney Houston, so you get a little whiff
crowd
of that.
pleaser, girl, crowd pleaser. I'm there. I'm so there.
Everywhere I go, like, everywhere I travel, I always sing that song, and then once I have that and, like, 2 drinks in, it's like, "Oh, okay,
Oh, I get you.
oh, let's go."
My go-to karaoke song is Salt and Pepper's Shoot.
Shoot, shoot,
Love it.
road.
Like, nada,
You g
so again, don't
okay, then. Oh my god. Yeah, amazing. We need to hang out. I don't know why we haven't.
yo, life has been lifey lately, girl. I mean, that's literally I just started coming out of my shell, like, this year, like, "I'm available for a brunch. I will
A
celebrate
little bit.
this year." Yo, like, being in it after leaving corporate is something else, yo, for real, and like, out of it now a little bit so I can look
Yeah.
and reflect, but yo,
When
last
you're in it, you're like, you
ooh,
don't even know what's happening.
I was like, "Guys, I made it. I'm a survivor."
Well, one of my friends, she's a therapist. I'll probably have her on the podcast. She was like, "Girl, you're depressed," and I'm like, "Really? You think so? I think I'm pretty good, you know." But I was just like functioning,
Yeah,
like with this depression, right? But I went through like this whole reflective, deep, like spiritual, like dark seat of the soul kind of
yeah,
phase in my life where I had to really
good for you.
like look at my self-worth and why was it like being questioned all of a sudden. I was like, oh God. And then I, you know, just ended things and then I wanted a new career. Like I was just wilding out here. I was just like, nope, I don't want this corporate job anymore. Nope, I don't want this marriage.
Get it.
Nope, I don't want to be here. And I'm like, who is this person? And she's doing a lot in such a short period of time.
Yo, your highest self was like, "Okay, we have an agenda now."
We gotta break all these things apart.
Yeah, yeah, sometimes I
That's
think
what
it
happened.
happens like that, they call it some people refer to it, like, in your 30s.
Midlife crisis.
Yes, like, your solo return, some people are like, "It's your midlife crisis," and I'm like, "Whatever it is, it's about to almost take me out, so I'm gonna need, like, friends and family to step in right now because nah, man, now I'm not like I took the shame out of receiving.
Mm,
I'm like, if I would drop whatever for to help this person out, if I had it, then it's not an issue. Why am I stressing out, right?
yeah, why don't we receive? Like, it's natural to
It's so
receive.
natural. It's just I think when you've been a caregiver in your family, like you've been the one helping out others, there's some kind of mindset that gets stuck in there. Like you don't ever want to be the burden to others. And it's not really about it being the burden. I'm like, I wholeheartedly believe, like, are you able to really help me right now? Because I'm not trying to put you in a spot either.
Mhm, mhm.
Like, with all the love in the world, my mom, my stepmother, and my sister, like, completely helped me out last year.
Right.
And it was like, one day I woke up, it was, like, on November 11th, I remember of last year, I was like, "Okay, we're about a year out from getting laid off. We need to catch up. We need to, like, get aligned because we're not well. Like, I couldn't hustle the way I could before." So I was like, "I gotta be real about what I'm able to give and then what I actually need." So, like, that day, I, like, hit him every up. I was like, "This is my plan. This is how much I need. This is when I can pay you back. Are you okay with this?" And they were
That's
like
11/11.
yo, all of
Ooh,
them. We
November
had that
11th.
surge of energy that day, and they were like, "We have literally been asking you, like, of course, like, this isn't even a question, like, come by right now."
Wow.
And I was like, "Ah,"
And
just, like,
not feel bad about it.
attitude, like, everything changed after that, and so, I
Wow.
don't know, I feel like you sometimes everyone has their rock bottom, right? Like, I've had a few,
You had a few.
had a few, so I call myself a survivor girl, and
A
now
cat, a cat, 9 lives.
I know, I think I'm on my 6th. Jesus. And the woods help, community helps, community is necessary in any form,
Yes.
whether it's the ones
Yes.
you seek or your friends or your family. And, yo, it's been a lot more peaceful. Like, I'm, like, so grateful for the peace that I have now compared to last year, and I don't know, girl, like, I'm doing everything possible to not go back to corporate America.
Well, I'll put it out there that you won't have to. You
Please.
just keep creating, keep being you because you have a lot to offer and the community you built is amazing.
Thank you.
I really think that, it's an extension of you, right? And so I think when you do things from the heart, it just naturally flows and you don't have to like perform and make it perfect because it's who you are, it's part of you, right? Like
Yeah.
we're doing this, we didn't pre-script it, we just going off of vibes here. And that's the way life should be. It should be, you enjoying the moment and having certainty that no matter what, like it's all going to work out because it always does. Like if you look back at all the BS that you went through, all the
Absolutely.
disappointment, the challenges, losing money, losing a job, losing a spouse or a boyfriend, whatever, like it always worked out in your favor.
Yeah.
It either taught you something, it brought you an experience that you'll never forget.
Yeah.
And like how beautiful it is to you be alive and experience that, right? Like even the sucky parts. So it's about embracing like those dark, places and the good, right? So it's just embracing all of it because that's life. It's not just like a walk in the park all the time. You wouldn't have nothing to compare it to. I think if we
Absolutely.
were all hunky dory every day and there was like all this joy all the time, and I think that there's something to really consider about adversity, challenges. It just makes us grow. It's like a spiritual gym, like, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes when people trigger me or I don't get what I want, because sometimes I'm a little brat and I'm like, I wanted it this way. And I had a certain expectation of,
You're
of
just
this happening.
ambitious, Diana. Let me paint a picture for you.
No, I mean, sometimes I could be a little bratty, and it's just like it didn't work out the way I wanted it to.
Right.
But I'm always reminded that, God always gives you what you need, not
Right.
necessarily what you want, but always what you need. And I always have to like be like, okay, I trust you. I trust in the process. And
Yeah.
that so much I got a damn tattoo on my forearm to remind me, like, just trust, like,
Yeah.
relax,
Yeah.
just trust the process because it all is a process. It's all the little puzzles to your big life, and thinking about, not to sound morbid, but I always think about the end in mind now, like giving people their flowers when they're here in the moment, right? If you feel called to share something with someone, how much you appreciate them, how much you love them, how much they brought a smile to your face. Like, tell them now. Don't wait until, they're,
Mm.
like your adversary or whatever, your enemy. Like, oh, I never got to,
Yep.
acknowledge them. We're all trying to figure it out. None of us are perfect. And so, yeah, I could go on a whole tangent about this because I really feel like we take advantage of this time that we have right now, And it puts it into perspective like when you're like really, really sick or in a hospital.
Mm.
Like, you ever notice like when you're in a hospital, you're like, damn,
Nothing else matters but your health. Nothing.
yeah, like life was really, it was life, but I was outside. I
Yep.
wasn't in this room. I
No.
just came back from a 3-day stay with my son. He has like a routine medical monitoring and he's fine, thank God. Everything is good. But just sitting there, like I've done it before, but this time around, like since it was the last one, I was super grateful. I was like, but I was annoyed that I had to be there. But I was thinking about all the other people that don't get to walk away right after the 3 days, right? And I just started getting really emotional. I was just like, like I'm very grateful that my son is okay and that after 3 days, I'm going to pack our bags and we're checking out. I'm like, not everybody gets to do that. Right. And
Right.
so, Mija, I was just like a ball of emotions.
I get it. Like, I was like, my health took a turn last fall, and I couldn't even drive for, like, longer than an hour. My muscles
Oh, wow.
ramp up. Things were happening, and, like, doctors are still like, "We don't know what happened." And now I wake up in the mornings like, "Oh my god, I can get out of bed. I'm not in the hospital. I'm able to walk. I don't need someone to be here in case I fall." Like, things were bad. And
Wow.
I was so worried that I was like, "Mom, do you think you could pick me up if I fell?" Like, I was just like, "You tiny. You are very small, lady." So, like, I was thinking of, like, contingency plans, and now that time right now is, like, I still don't know what happened to my joints and my muscles at the time. Like, I wake up most of the time these days like, "Que alivio." Like, yeah,
Right.
my allergies are trying to kill me, but, like, I can get up and make my coffee and go for a walk. Like, these tiny little things I'm so grateful for that I
Yeah.
didn't do for, like, a month or 2 last year really puts
Mm,
things in perspective. Like, exactly what
wow.
you said, like, it takes, like, I think those dark moments to make you appreciate life, and I'm like, I wonder if I just needed, like, a swift kick in the ass to be like, "You
Yeah, you did.
as grateful as you could be and yo, this is coming from a girl that's almost died multiple times, and I think I needed that, like, dose of, like, daily gratitude again.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like it's that yin and the yang, the dark and the light. It's
Yeah.
just we need both, People are so afraid to like I don't want to embrace the dark. I don't want to, I don't
Mm,
want to feel this way. I hate my boss or I hate the fact that I didn't get picked for that promotion. All these things that we consider to be like dark and negative and
mhm.
someone cheated on me. But all those things, there's like beauty in it. I know it sounds weird as hell, but
No,
there is a lesson.
no.
There's like something about you to look into
Yes,
because once that pendulum swings, oh, it's gonna swing to the other side. And then
yes,
you're gonna be like, I thought I was gonna be there forever in that misery, but I'm not,
that's your
So
brain
look at you now.
telling you, always, that is the brain playing tricks on us, like, they say the good times don't last, but the bad times don't last either. So, like,
Yeah,
good times are
yeah.
happening, I'm like, "YOLO, put my phone away," because some shitstorm might happen next week, and I wanna know que lo gocé, like, you know what I'm saying? That's literally how I think now, I'm like, "Is the universe filling up my cup right now because a shitstorm is on the way?" I don't care. I'm
But
like,
you know what's really weird is like when you've been on survival mode for so long that when you go through like a really long streak of like happiness and synchronicity and everything is just, oh, you're floating on the clouds. You're like, is this too good to be true? When is the other shoe gonna drop? When
"Oh,
is the veil gonna
tell
pull down? And
it."
I'm like, yo, we're so traumatized.
Trauma. That's trauma right there peeking through, and I'm like, "Mira, tú vete a dormir. I'm not giving you no energy. This is not where you come up to show up. Absolutely not." That's when
It's like, no, don't get too comfortable, girl.
I, like, redirect my energy because
Yeah.
that thought is always possible. It's always
Mm,
possible. When you've been through something, you know how to handle the hard things. Now the
yeah.
healing is about being able to enjoy the good things without worrying that it's gonna go away. That's the healing.
Yeah.
That's why
Wow.
we're doing this. You know how to handle trauma, girl, you're an expert, you know? All of us are experts,
Yeah.
but it's about slowing down long enough to be like, "Oh, I'm okay right now, and that's cool."
Yeah, and that's okay.
And I have nothing, even if something bad happens, because 'cause I'm so dope at trauma, I'll be able to handle
I've been prepared.
I've been ready. I was born ready, unfortunately.
Oh my god.
These skills I did not ask for, you know?
Yeah. It's like, oh man,
What it is.
another test? I thought I was done with this part, but anyway.
Every year comes with I think, its own challenges. I think that's just what life is. Like, I think I told my friends now that I can reflect back on last year, I was like, I feel like I finally learned how to, like, dance in the rain.
Yeah.
It was happening. It was left and right and all around, and I was like, "Why is there a mountain to climb every week, girl? Why?" But then I was
Yeah.
like, I have to be able there is a moment where I can step back and have un tecito and romanticize my life for, like, 10 minutes that will feed me and remind me, like, "I got this. I had the other shit
Right.
in the past, Imma get this too." Different attitude. When I see something coming my way, I'm like, "Boil some water. We gotta make some tea because that's happening no matter what, and I got 10 minutes." So, that's it. That's what I think I lean on the most now because things are gonna happen no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. So we got this. So talking about, Reclama and everything that you've created, what do you see yourself like doing in the next couple of years for the community? Where do you see it going and where can people find you if they want to learn more?
Yes. So, Reclama, let's see, we're almost in this is our 7th year, technically?
Yeah.
And I'm listening to the hikers. I'm gonna put out a formal survey as well, but
Hmm.
we have a community of hikers, and a lot of them want a formal membership again. Like, I had a member club
Mm,
before, like a hike club, but
right.
work got so crazy that I couldn't contribute as much, so I had to put it on pause. Now it's gonna come back. More private hikes, which I'm making more time for. I'm trying to inspire others to use their PTO days. Like, we don't have to only hike on the weekends, my friends. Like, we can hike
Right.
on a Wednesday and call it a mental health day. And then the
Right.
other part is like to continue doing the public hikes, like at our local parks that sometimes are right there, but we don't take advantage of. Like, if you're in New York, you'd be surprised at the amount of people that don't go to Central Park or have never been.
Hmm.
Like things like that, I think I want to keep doing. Mostly we do hikes out of New York and New Jersey, but to expand, maybe take some like a trip to like a national park this year or next, like the end of this year or next. I think I'm leaning more towards all of that because it's what the hikers want, and I'm like, "Yo, I'm down to do whatever." So now I'm like in like, "All right, I want specific feedback from everyone," but it's always at the core of like being outside, resetting, and reclaiming, like it's called Reclama for a reason, like this exercise of being outside and being mindful and like writing down your thoughts and like honoring them, even if they feel fragmented or not complete, all leads to you delayering all of the stuff that's been put on you so that you could be like, this is my core. This is really the thing I should be feeding in my soul. It's not
Right.
A, B, or C. It's not this expectation of me. So that's very open. But right now it's showing up in forms of more hikes, more retreats, and definitely a membership.
Okay. That
Yeah.
sounds good. And
Yeah.
where could people find you if they want to learn more and book a hike?
Yes, we have our website, Reclama, so it's RECLA.MA. And
Okay.
then the same thing on Instagram. If you search Reclama, it should come up as well. And we try to have, let me see, a hike every other month is what
Okay.
we're doing now. The next one should be at the end of June. I'm gonna put that out very soon.
Okay.
It's usually to celebrate the seasons, to like take a pause before we jump from spring to summer and just like assess and think about what we want in the next season. Sometimes
Yeah.
there are rituals involved, and it could be anything from like how to journal to heal to like how to make a baño in your house with what you have available to you. Because that's like the witchiness in all of us, like a lot of our ancestors made things to heal themselves of what they had in the moment in front of them. So I just try to,
Right.
you don't have to go and do a whole shopping spree. You probably have stuff at home. So
Right.
it's very much about that. And I'm excited because I feel like spring and fall are like our best seasons. So I want to see you come out in the fall for sure.
Yeah.
Summer because the foliage is lit. Like you're just gonna feel like a fall fairy out there, vas a ver.
Well, summer is my favorite season, so
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
perfect. We do definitely a waterfall hike in the summer because who doesn't like that?
It be hot out there.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
hot today. I'm surprised you didn't have a hike today
I
with
know,
this
right?
beautiful weather.
It's coming up, it's coming up. We just had a hike, like, 2 weeks ago, a very gentle one in honor of, like, what was it called? Earth Day? So now we're gonna do
Yeah.
another one soon. It's coming up.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Cindy. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time and thank you for all your wisdom and everything that you bring to the community. And I really appreciate all the things that you're doing and creating for us. And continue to shine, continue to be who you are.
Well,
And I wish you nothing but the best with your health and all your ideas that you want to bring together. Like, let's make it happen and, let's keep in
thanks.
touch because I think that there's a lot of amazing things that we could collaborate on.
Same.
And so, yeah, thank you guys.
Well,
So,
thank
thank
you.
you guys for joining and stay tuned for our next episode coming up next week. I have a little surprise for you guys, but make sure to share this episode and like and review so we could get more viewers like yourself. And thank you once again, Cindy. Until
Thank
next time,
you.
guys.
Thank you so much. Bye.